So this would be mold graveyard out here?
Yeah, so we keep all our wounds or anything extra that we're going to need for immediately for our shop. And we also use this area for any kind of dangerous mold work with fiberglass, which is a lot of chemicals, you know, that we use.
I
and
noticed,
we have fiberglass molds up here.
You do movies and TV, right?
Oh yeah, that's what all these molds are. I mean, a lot of these are for TV and commercials. And don't drink that.
Today we are at VGP Effects with the one and only Vincent Guastini. How are you, sir?
Good, man. Good.
Walking in here, you can't help but notice the Ellen Burstyn heads from Requiem. You did prosthetic stuff on her. I had no idea that she had anything.
We didn't have a lot of time on that movie. It was a low-budget film in New York City. So what I was trying to do was achieve an effect that didn't look like an effect. Weight gain and weight loss was subtle enough that it was effective, but not so much like, oh, that's a really cool looking makeup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I wanted to not to be noticed.
Like you're putting all this energy and time into something that a lot of people aren't even going to know that it was an effect.
It was a very, very long and arduous shoot for me, you know, to get through all of that, to make it that real. There was a lot of success through association. The DP, Matthew Libatique, you know, carefully lit things. I think that was the first time I actually became a makeup artist, because most of the stuff I was doing up to that point was monsters and creatures. And so when you have to do something that is totally realistic and hold up to a close-up.
Extremely delicate.
Yeah. We did many tests and did the prosthetics on the arm and went through many changes, you know, in that, you know.
Oh, the black spot?
Yeah,
sorry.
Darren is very, very picky and meticulous. The first time I went to the screening of it, when Eric Watson and Aronofsky showed it to me, they said, what'd you think? I said, I don't know what to think. I feel like I've been assaulted, and I experienced everything. I mean, I worked on the thing, and I didn't even look at my effects as effects. I was just looking at it as an experience, and I got beaten over the head, you know, at how brutal the movie was. It was real.
I went back and like reread a synopsis because I remember certain parts of the movie, but I saw the movie when it came out, reread the synopsis, and it even just kind of sat there for about 5 minutes afterwards, and my wife was like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I just reread what Requiem for a Dream was all about. So from Aronofsky to Kevin Smith.
He basically left me alone. You know, he had specific orders, you know, on things like the wings, you know, the Justice League of America. He would show me a comic book and he'd say, these are the wings I want. I decided that we're gonna make the best wings in film history on a low budget with very little time. It's, you know, great decision. It wasn't like, you know, we had like a Stan Winston budget. Now that I put my foot in my mouth, I gotta make it work, you know, plus all the other effects, which is make shit walk, and you know, and all this other stuff. My animatronics coordinator, Greg Ramondos, got those wings delivered. It was a very narrow margin that they were going to make it on time.
They look amazing.
Well, thank you.
Even still now, it looks amazing. How do you make it work when you're on that budget and you have this idea in your head?
I really shouldn't say this. I'll be very honest with you. I don't think any effects artist would say this, but I'm going to say it. So fuck it. I pay for it myself.
Really?
Yeah. I take the money out of my pocket, and I pay for it myself.
No one else has ever said that.
No, because my word means something. If I say I'm going to deliver, I have to deliver.
Right. We've heard it time and time again from a lot of different guys, you know, here in LA, just having to put their names in the hat basically to even get jobs. And all producers are looking for these days is just who's going to do it the cheapest.
No, for sure. So I mean, this is what I call boutique, smaller shop than most.
Right.
But we do a lot of work here. I mean, full animatronics.
You wouldn't be getting the work if you weren't doing the job right.
You know where that mentality is? Dick Smith. Dick Smith was in his basement. It wasn't the space, it's who's running it, because basically the person that's in charge is sort of like the main conductor in a band. You know, he's conducting the band. Okay, you're watching a thing that like Rob Bottin did, and then you want to find out, well, Rob Bottin didn't sculpt that, it was Henry Alvarez. But why is there a lineage of style? Rob Bottin is conducting his crew to what he wants. The spirit of the 80s movies is very much alive in the studio. So we have this rigged, it's gonna melt. So basically we have a fake eye, there's a cable inside that's gonna poke the eye out. We have things on a fishing line and we're gonna pull his ear off. There's gonna be some flesh that's gonna pass over his face too. It's gonna melt off and deteriorate too. Gore, I would have to say it's more surreal. It's almost art in itself. It's not just blood for blood's sake or wound for wound's sake. And I'm not a gore monger. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, yeah. I get like that when the effect works. You know, and I go, oh wow, that's fucking cool. That looks real, or that looks great. But I'm not having that feeling because I like seeing somebody torn apart. It's more like the effect works, it looks real, people are excited. So I try to ignite the room with whatever effect we're trying to do. What's rare, and when it does happen, is if that scene becomes sort of iconic or special. It's a magic moment, you know, in a film that you've actually done the effect and it's actually going to affect the rest of the movie, where it's going to stay with the audience when they leave, not just because the story is good or the acting's good, but the effect actually worked with the movie. That's the other thing that works better when you work in a smaller shop. It's not so much like you're a factory worker, you know, out in a big warehouse. You're supposed to love what you're doing and have fun at it. Of course.
I say that all the time. I get to play guitar for a living. You know, we make music. It's just supposed to be fun.
Well, then we're winners.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
You know? we're winning. You know?
And I get paid to come around and do this, too. La, 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 la. Click here to subscribe to Nerdist. It's free, and they'll send you links for all the cool shit they show on this channel, especially Blood and Guts. Did you catch the episode with Chucky? Well, if not, click right here. And next week, our special Halloween episode, a very special episode of Blood and Guts, where we look back at the legend Stan Winston, Terminator, fucking aliens, Pumpkinhead. Don't miss it.